Okay, so basically what we're doing here is building a variable capacitor. I have some parchment paper. I have a ruler and my tinfoil. This is not super critical, but the ruler goes somewhere. The tinfoil dimensions, this is 6 inches by about 5 inches. Somewhere ballpark is there. Can you see this? Okay, so can you read the value that's on here? Okay, so somewhere between 20 and 300 picofarads is our capacitance that we're going to make, that we're going to need to make, and I'm going to make what's called a book variable capacitor. Because in order to tune different stations in, you need to change the frequency. So basically, the parchment acts as an insulator. And can you film that? So there it is at 39 picofarads, which would be at the high end of the band. And basically, as I get closer and closer to this other piece, it should go on up to like close to 300. And yeah, we've exceeded. We're already up to 500. So in order to better control this, I'm going to cut this box up and tape the tinfoil to it so that I can like control the opening and closing of the book. So what I'm going to call the book. So I'm going to cut off 2 pieces of cardboard that roughly match my tinfoil. There's 1 piece of cardboard. So that's for one side of my book. I'll take this. And this is not super critical because we're not making like a precision instrument here, but this, when we're done, we should have a radio that works. I got the headphones in, the male. So we're cutting out an identical piece of cardboard to make our other side of the capacitor book, or the book capacitor. So cutting, like I said, this is not super critical, it does not have to be pretty, but you're going for roughly the size that I shared with you, because that'll be about what you want. And instead of parchment, if you don't have parchment on hand, you can use wax paper. That should work okay. So I'm going to take the first piece of tinfoil and tape it here like this. I think that'll be just fine. And it's nice to wrap a little bit around the edge here so you can have something for the, well, in your case it's going to be the wire, the hookup wire, but in my case it's this meter showing capacitance. So then we can tape it, this one around the edge, like this here. So you're going to be doing this at home. So there's our, ooh, look how nice and pretty that is. Look, perfection. Look at that. Now the parchment you want a little bit bigger so that you keep the 2 metal plates from touching, because that's a bad thing. We might trim this down even a little further in a minute. There we go. There's our insulator for the book capacitor. And we're going to take this over here, place our parchment in the middle, and we're going to fix the tinfoil on this bad boy just like we did the last one. So I think it's a good thing to have one side laying over like this, because then it'll provide you a place to attach the wire. So making the tinfoil slightly bigger than the cardboard is a good thing. So tape that so it doesn't move around. Tape the other side for the same reason. Bam, like that. We're doing science, people. Come on. So then this right here. So these are going to be the 2 sides of the book. And put a tape, because you need a hinge. And I think we're probably only going to be able to receive one station, 1440, because it's like right around the corner Some of you might live in Colton. I guess there's another radio station at Colton that you'd be picking up. I don't know where that's at on the dial. But the nice thing about the high end of the dial, it'll be... Okay, so I'm going to connect these little test leads to my book capacitor, and I think I should be able to get my full range that I want. So there's 50 picofarads. As I'm closing it more and more, it's getting bigger and bigger. 200, there, I passed the 300 mark, 400. So as I open it up, so you'll be tuning around like by moving this like this, and it gets kind of crazy. So it's going to be interesting tuning this. Some people put like a little adjustment to like open and close it with a little screw or something. You might play around with something like that if you want for it to hold in position. Or another thing you could do is we can mess around and figure out what the tuning is. There's more than one way to do this. You can like slide the two plates past each other. You might find that more accurate. And experiment. You don't have one of these meters, but knowing that if you have a piece of parchment and like around 5x5 or 5x6 tinfoil, you're going to have plenty of capacitance to work through. The trick is to make it change capacitance in a reliable and smooth way. So that's it, and thank you for watching.